the most common question I get in my Instagram DMs, on YouTube videos is, Jazz, you're glowing. How did you do it? You look so different. You look so good. Thank you so much. First of all, I have spent the past year becoming the best version of myself, and I've taken a lot of tips and tricks from different places, and I am compiling them all to tell you guys. This is kind of a part 2 of my video, how I lost weight without a gym membership. Ever since then, I've also just changed and grown, and I look different now, and I feel different. And I promise you, it's gonna be hard. That's not a promise you wanted to hear, but it's gonna be hard, but it's gonna be worth it. So number 1, and I think this is the hardest, but the most important, I would get out a pen and paper and I would write this stuff down. But number 1 is sit down in a quiet space when no one around you, no one to bother you, and really write down who you are. Figure out what your likes are. What kind of music do you like? What makes you happy? What makes you sad? What makes you angry? Who are your favorite people? Who are your least favorite people? What motivates you? What are your values? This is the hardest part. Forget everybody else. Forget like, I only like this music because so-and-so likes it. Like, I feel like that happens a lot, or because, you know, it's the most popular music right now. This stuff that you're writing down, no one's gonna see it. And it's the first step on breaking that facade that we all have. We all like the popular things. We all like whatever's trending. That's what we go for, you know what I mean? Whatever people tell us is good is what we think is good. And so writing down like, wait, what do I actually like? For example, I realized that I don't like a lot of music with words in it. I like lo-fi beats, I like jazz, and that's just me. You like it, that's great. Just taking that away and forgetting about everything else and everything that you're consuming and writing down what you like. Who are you? I don't know. Let's figure it out. Now that we've got all of that figured out, step number 2 is to acknowledge what you want to change about yourself. What do you like and dislike about yourself? Not the music, not what you like to eat, not all that stuff. We got that down in step 1. What do you like and dislike about yourself? For example, I like that I like to help people. I like helping people. It makes me happy. And I like that about myself. I feel like when people think of me, they think of, oh, let me go to Jazz because she knows the answer. What I dislike about myself is that I'm a people pleaser. So I drop everything to help people, and it causes me to be stressed out about myself. And I've seen what that could happen to somebody. If somebody's so focused on everyone else that they forget to take care of themselves, it could be very detrimental. I'm like getting teary-eyed because it took a long time to really figure that out about myself. And when it hits you, you're like, oh, somebody asked me the other day, what are you scared of? I've never thought about that. And I realized that I was afraid of letting people down. Writing this stuff down, and oh my God, I'm getting teary-eyed. I'm supposed to be motivating, but this is what's gonna happen. You're gonna cry. You're gonna let go of a lot. So I'm a big believer in the universe or God or whatever you believe in, a higher power, your higher self, tells you and gives you what you need at that moment, whether it's a good thing or a bad thing. Everything's a lesson. Everything is meant to be. You know what I mean? And so when I'm looking at things I don't like about myself, I think about things that I don't like about other people, because usually if someone makes you feel a certain way, it's something that has to do with you. So, for example, I had this one friend who would always complain about everything. It was starting to really annoy me because they were complaining about the same thing over and over and over again. I don't want to hang out with them anymore, you know what I mean? And I stopped texting them back, and I was like, why am I doing this? And when I sat down and I thought about it, and I'm like, this person is really nice. I love them. They're like a great friend, but this part of them bothers me. That usually means that that part of them is something that I do, that I need to fix. So I realized that I complained a lot. And even if you go watch like old vlogs, there was a point where I was like so negative. I was like, I hate this. I'm like, this person sucks, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like complaining and I'm spewing out negativity and I'm not positive. I realized them complaining is something that I need to fix about myself. If it bothers you that, you know, this person doesn't call me, this person doesn't message me, do you message them? You realize that people are there in your life for a reason. Everything happens in your life for a reason. I am a true believer in that. And once I realize that, I look at everything as a lesson. Number 3, set boundaries. Set boundaries with people. And it's gonna be hard, but it's cutting out people. Cutting out people that aren't good for you. Even just like texting people back. I used to be like, oh, if somebody's texting me, I'll text them back right away. Now I'm like, okay, like I'll get to it later, and putting a time on like, okay, I'm gonna get back to this at this time, and not having to like answer people right away, or not letting people make you feel a certain way. Like if people make make me feel upset, it's like, okay, well, that's something I need to work on of myself. But while I'm working on that, maybe I should take a step back from this person. Does that make sense? Let me know if that all makes sense to you guys. All right, everyone's gonna hate this one, but if you don't meditate, meditate. Everyone's telling you to meditate for a reason. It's in every culture. It's what you need to do. It's the best way to get in touch with your higher self. It's not as woo-woo as a lot of people say it is. Once you get the hang of it, you will crave it every day. A friend of mine leads meditations. I will link his stuff down below. I would recommend reading this book, Becoming Supernatural by Joe Dispenza. I know it sounds crazy. It's like Becoming Supernatural. That's woo-woo. He gets really analytical about meditation and he breaks down the science behind it. If you're not really spiritual, then this is a good way to be like, oh, this works because of this. And then Deepak Chopra has a 14-day meditation series on Spotify, which is free. I mean, if you have Spotify, and I think you can find some stuff on YouTube. I will link everything down below. Like, you guys will have all of the information, I promise. I have an Oura Ring, which is like probably the best thing I've ever bought. Well, Harjit bought it for me for Christmas. When I'm in a deep, deep meditation, your temperature rises. And so I can make myself go from really cold to really warm just by meditating. It'll tell me that my body temperature is rising. Just seeing this stuff and realizing like this stuff actually works. And that brings me to my next point, which is to read. If you're not reading, what are you doing? You're missing out on a lot of valuable information. If you don't like reading, I would recommend this book, Read Limitless by Jim Kwik. He breaks down reading and reading really fast. I've read this book like twice and it's really informative. It made me a better reader, especially if you have ADHD, which I have. I would start with this if you want to get into reading. Such a good book. Definitely recommend. Another really good book. Definitely recommend. I have this page on Notion where I have every single book that I've read. I give it a rating and I would write notes. So when I'm reading, I always have either my iPad or my notebook and I just literally write it down, because when you write stuff down, like how they teach you in school, you retain that information. Speaking of writing, you guys are gonna hate me even more. Write. Journals. Get yourself one of these. I really like this one because it's like flat. This is one I had previously. This is the one I'm using currently. It's a hardcover. Not a huge fan of it, but I like ones that you can kind of carry around with you. And I fill them with notes. Some days it's a book, like this is notes from a book that I was reading at a time. And then I have dreams that I have written here. I have journal entries, and it's not organized in any way because that works for me. I don't like when it's like structured because then I am less likely to do it. So if I know that I can just write anything that's on my mind in this journal, it's so much easier. And then I go back and I write an index. So, you know, page 30, journal entry about this. Page 81, a class that I was in, notes from that class. Writing is the best thing in the world. Even if you're not a good writer, it doesn't matter. No one's gonna see this. Take a pen and paper every morning, every night, write down a page of anything, and you never know what will come out. I've realized so much about myself just by starting with, the sun's out today. That's it. I'm frustrated. I'm mad at myself for waking up late. Why am I mad at myself for waking up late? Oh, is it because I wanna wake up early? Why do I wanna wake up early? Who says that I need to wake up early? Every thought you have is just coming out. You're realizing things about yourself that you didn't know, and you're teaching yourself things just by writing. It's so hard to understand the thoughts that you have. There's so much going on. I forgot to mention, and this is not like a brand deal or anything, but I use this app called Perlego, and it's like $15 a month or something. And it gives you access to like some of the greatest books that are, not all the books, but like textbooks and stuff that have a lot of really good information. And so I use that a lot, especially if I want to learn something. Like I'm really into Freud right now and psychology. So there's a whole psychology section. So especially if you're out of school or you don't go to school or whatever it is, and you want to learn about a subject, you don't have to get a degree in it. Whoever told you that you needed to get a degree in something that you're interested in is wrong, because you can learn that stuff all by yourself. So if you're interested in something, definitely either go to the library. I use Perlego. And that brings me to my next point, which is take note of everything you're doing. Whether that's writing something down or just taking note and checking in with yourself, being like, wait, why am I doing this? And is this serving me? I'm not talking about that whole like hustle culture and that grind culture, like I have to be working all the time. I'm talking about taking a look at everything that you're doing and being like, is this serving me right now? Is this making me feel good? And is this something that I actually want to be doing? Sometimes you find yourself scrolling on TikTok and you're like, wait, is this something I want to be doing? And maybe it is. Maybe you want to be on TikTok. Or for me, I'm like, well, I don't want to be scrolling on TikTok, but I do want to watch a movie. A movie will help me because I am an actor and a director and a writer, and this is like the stuff that I want to be doing. Everyone's different, and something that might make you happy might not make me happy. And I think we forget that life is short. We're only here for a certain amount of time, and we're here to learn, and we're here to grow, and we're here, I don't know, that's something we have to figure out, right? Another example, which is kind of the basis of my how I lost weight video, is realizing that I don't like certain exercises and just checking in with myself and being like, why am I weightlifting? I don't like this because somebody on the internet told me to do it, but I don't like it. It doesn't make me happy. Am I doing this because I like this, or am I doing this because it's convenient, or am I doing this because somebody told me to do it? I promise I'm almost done. Number 8 is to be nice to yourself. Maybe you got to number 1 and you sat there and you couldn't figure out what your likes and dislikes are, and you're mad at yourself because you're like, why can't I do this? Maybe you need to come back to this, but you tried, and that's a win. You getting out of bed in the morning is a win. So be nice to yourself. Be grateful that you got out of bed in the morning. Be grateful that there's sun outside. I'm taking every hardship of my life and being grateful that there was a positive aspect of it. So be nice to yourself. You know, it's hard, and if you can't, that's okay. Be nice to yourself tomorrow. Feed yourself good food. Be careful of what you consume, whether you're consuming mentally or whether you're consuming inside. What are you eating? Do you feel like shit mentally, but are you eating like McDonald's every day? That's not being nice to yourself. Only protein shakes and chicken breasts. That's not being nice to yourself. There's always like 2 very extremes that are not good for you. And are you meeting yourself in the middle? Are you finding a good balance in life? Are you moving your body? You are responsible for yourself. No one else is. You are. Number 9 is to really figure out your why in life. I think we're all put on here for a reason, and we're all different, and I feel like we forget that. As an Indian, I know a lot of Indians can relate to me. Our parents are like, you gotta be doctors, make sure you work really hard in school, you gotta be this, you gotta do that. Like, they have all these expectations. You're the only person who knows what you're good at, what you're meant to be, why you're meant to be on this earth. You're the only person that can figure that out. No one can tell you. And being able to drown out that noise and figure out why. For example, I'm good at helping people. That's something I strive to do on a daily basis. And I used to think that was a bad thing. Like, I used to be like, oh, I'm helping everybody, but nobody's helping me. And I used to be mad at that, and then realizing, wait, no, everyone's different. Everyone gives in a different way. And I think we get stuck in comparing ourselves to other people. There's these routes that people create, and for some reason, we're told to follow them. You know, we get that question like, are you gonna go to university or college? Or which one are you going to? What are you gonna be? When are you gonna get married? When are you gonna have kids? Do you wanna get married? Do you wanna have kids? Like, these are questions we never ask ourselves because we're pressured by society to do these things. We're put on a religion and a culture and all of these things when we're born, and we don't get to have that choice to be like, wait, what is this? Am I aligned with this or am I not aligned with this? People do things because other people expect them to. People I know hate their jobs. I made them a lot of money. Is the money gonna make them happy? No, sorry. But maybe doing something they love would make them happier than $2,000 more a year. It's crazy what we do because society tells us to do it. What makes you you is you. Surround yourself with people, things, and stuff that you like. I think this goes back to just like writing and like everything I've said so far. Make a list of things that you like and that you want to do. Make a bucket list, make a vision board, make a playlist, make stuff that makes you happy. Make a list of the people that make you feel good. I'm the happiest I've ever been. Am I the richest I've ever been? No. Am I the healthiest physically that I've ever been? Probably not. But do I feel the greatest? Do I wake up every day with a purpose? Do I smile more than I frown? Yes. And so you don't have to meet certain goals just to be happy. You could be happy today. And that is just a reminder that I like to tell myself. Yeah, hope you guys liked this video. If you did, thumbs up. If you want more of these, thumbs up. If you don't, that's fine. New sketch every Monday, new vlog every Thursday, and follow me on Instagram and DM me questions you have. I know I'm like bad with DMs if you DM'd me before, but I will make sure that I get back to a lot of you guys. Okay, love you. Bye.